This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you're looking for a sports book this football season, be sure to visit America's #1 sports book, FanDuel, today. What is going on, Colts Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Well, guys, the Indianapolis Colts wrapped up the preseason, getting their first win of the preseason here, ending it with style with a blowout victory against the Cincinnati Bengals by a final score of 41-14. So, guys, obviously coming into this game, we knew that pretty much none of the starters were going to be playing. And it was going to be a lot of backups. So it was going to be a lot of guys who were competing, for the final spots here on the roster. So, it was Riley Leonard. It was Jason Bean to be the quarterbacks today. We didn't see any Anthony Richardson, didn't see any Daniel Jones. So we got to see a lot from some of these backup guys. And obviously we see with the score, backups did pretty good. So wanted to kind of talk about that here today and just kind of give a brief recap here. Again, this is a game where we didn't see a lot of the starters, so take it as you will. And I think this was just an audition, a final audition from some guys who might be on the fringe, right, for the final 53-man roster. So not going to go too crazy in depth with this, but just wanted to kind of point out a couple things here from this game. And obviously roster cuts are happening here on Tuesday, so there's a lot that was riding for some of these guys here in this final game. So with that being said, guys, the Indianapolis Colts pretty much dominated in every category. First downs, plays, yards, everything. The Colts just dominated. But when you kind of jump into some of the players individually that you could point to, Riley Leonard, very efficient today, 15 of 20 passing, 189 yards. He had a touchdown, 120 quarterback rating. Jason Bean, not as efficient, 11 of 17 for 107 yards, had a touchdown, but also had an interception as well with a 77.3 rating. So if that's any indication, I would think that Riley Leonard would be that quarterback 3. If there was any doubt, I think Riley Leonard pretty much cemented himself as quarterback 3 for this team. Probably be that next guy up, maybe on the practice squad, or we'll kind of have to see. I know there's a rule there where they can keep a quarterback on there. I believe that's still a rule. They can keep a quarterback on the roster without taking up a roster spot, like a third emergency quarterback. So I would think Riley Leonard would be that guy, but we'll just have to see. And then when you're looking at some other players here on this Colts offense, leading rusher today, Nate Noel, he had 7 carries for 63 yards today. Again, I think he's a guy that's probably just going to be more of a practice squad guy. We'll just kind of have to see on that. Ulysses Bentley got some run as well. Jason Bean also ran the ball a good amount today. DJ Giddens got a lot of run. He had 6 carries for 22 as well today. And so nothing too crazy when it came to running the football today. Riley Leonard had a 14-yard scramble as well. So both these quarterbacks definitely showing off their ability to be dual threat for sure. And then when you look at the wide receivers, Laquan Treadwell had himself a day, let me tell you. 6 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown. While I don't know if he's going to make the final roster, he's certainly had a strong camp. We've heard a lot from Laquan Treadwell, so would like to keep him around if possible, because if you need another wide receiver in there, I think Laquan Treadwell can do that. And now, the second year here with your team. So another good day for Laquan Treadwell. Good to see there. Will Mallory had a catch for 8 yards. Jelani Woods had 3 for 30. So it wasn't anything crazy when it came to this offense, to be honest with you. Nothing too wild, although Ulysses Bentley did have 2 touchdowns today in his 8 carries. So potentially could he sneak onto the roster, especially with the injury to Khalil Herbert? Maybe so. We'll just have to see on that. You had some other guys. Adonai Mitchell played a little bit in this game. You had Drew Ogletree played a little bit in this game. Pretty much all the tight ends not named Tyler Warren or Mo Alley Cox played in this game. So they all got some run there, and it looked like Jelani Woods got the most action in terms of the targets he received and the catches he had. So that was kind of the offense in a nutshell, guys. Those were a couple players who did stand out. And then on the defensive side of things, Trey Washington led you with 6 tackles in this game. Alex Johnson had a pretty good game. He had 2 pass deflections in this game, and, he could potentially sneak his way onto the roster. He's been having himself some nice days the last couple weeks. I could see that. So Daniel Scott had a really good day today. He had an interception, 2 pass deflections, actually a pick 6 off that interception. So I tell you what, man, Daniel Scott, he's missed time the last couple years with some injuries, unfortunately, but he's had 2 back-to-back really nice days. Really 2 back-to-back really nice games. I mean, he really has. So I like to see that from Daniel Scott. And, the Colts were raving about him before the injury. So I'm seeing him making himself a strong case here for a final roster spot, especially obviously with the loss of Hunter Wohler as well. So that is definitely good to see there. Spencer Schrader continues to look very, very good kicking the football. Schrader had a 46-yard field goal that he made and later on hit a 44-yarder as well. So that is definitely good to see. You feel pretty good about Spencer Schrader, and I think we're all fairly confident that he is going to be the kicker moving forward as well. So, yeah, guys, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about, to be honest with you, outside of just a few players here that I think made a case for themselves. Again, there were so many guys that didn't play in this game, and even some of those guys who did play didn't see a lot of action, right? So really, I think it was final kind of some roster spots competition there, and I think a few guys definitely made some cases for themselves today. And really in a dominating fashion like this, it's really hard to see a lot of players that didn't play well. So, yeah, guys, I just wanted to bring you guys a quick recap. Again, this is probably the one that people care about the least just because there's not a lot of players that people actually know that are out there unless you're a diehard and you follow every single player. There's not the, players out there that we're used to, right? No starters played, like I said. A few backup guys played some, but not a ton. So, yeah, guys, that really does it. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update here when it comes to that. But wanted to give a shout out to FanDuel for sponsoring this video. Be sure to go check out FanDuel, guys, as we're getting closer and closer now that preseason is officially done for the Colts. We're getting closer to the regular season, so you can make sure to make bets and all that stuff on the Colts season and all these different things over there. So be sure to go check them out. Again, shout out to FanDuel for sponsoring this video. But, guys, that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.